This is my sketch illustration of Judy Hopps from Zootopia, and today I'm going to guide you through all the steps that I use so that you can create this yourself. So grab a pencil and paper and let's get started. Welcome back everyone, and thanks for joining me today for this lesson. I'm going to be drawing with the standard 2B pencil, but you're welcome to follow along with anything that you'd like. Now I'm going to begin today's lesson by adding some guidelines to help with the balance and symmetry of our drawing. So let's start by sketching a line coming down the center of our page. So we start at the very top of the middle. Just going to lightly work our way down towards the bottom. Now you don't want to go too dark because I'll eventually erase this out. Just using these short lines. Now we're going to place the head along the bottom of our page. So down here, let's draw another straight line going across from left to right. I'm just going to reserve the top area for the ears. Now with our guidelines in place, let's add a gap in between the eyes. So from that center point, let's move over towards left. Right about here, just going to mark this off. Let's measure that same distance over towards the right and do the same thing. Now we're going to extend that line coming down on the left and right. And then we're going to extend it all the way up towards the top, just making sure that that gap along the bottom is the same that we have across the top. Now with our guides in place, let's start blocking out the key facial features. Now I'm going to start with the curve of the eyes. Let's start from these 2 points, curve the eye going up and then down like a half oval towards the outside. Now the width of the eyes will determine the size of our drawing, so we don't want to go too big. And we can just line this up, making sure that we go up to the same height and then back down. I also want to make sure that this width of the eye is the same on the left and right side. So go a little bit further on the right side. And we'll curve the bottom of the eye. So taking these 2 points, just going to round this out, coming down and then up. Let's push the iris and pupil towards the inside. So on the inside left eye, we're going to draw a circle. And we just want to tuck this in towards the inside of the eye. Right about there. Now let's take that same size circle and do the same thing on the right. Let's draw a smaller circle in the middle, just leaving an even space gap all the way around. And again, we're just roughing this in. We don't need to be too perfect with these circles. Now let's connect the inside corner of the eyes with a curve. We're going to go up the middle and then back down. Let's draw the top edge of the nose, starting back on the left, curve this down and then up. Now from the ends, we're going to curve this down and in towards the center point, towards that center line. Draw a short line coming down. And then from the corners of the nose, let's draw a straight angled line coming down and out. And then in between, we're going to add a curve for the mouth. We're going to come down, go across, and then back up. Now from the mouth, we're just going to locate the chin. So right about here, just going to mark this off in the middle. Let's go back to the side of the eye. We're going to step up. Let's curve the cheeks, going out, round this out. Now we want to make our way back in towards that mark in the center. I'm just going to line it up on the right side and do the exact same thing. From the side of the neck, draw 2 straight angle lines coming down the side of the collar. Now let's draw the top of the head. From the left side, we're going to step in, curve this up, go across the middle, and then bend that back down towards the right side, just on top of the cheeks. And then we're going to locate the eyebrows. Let's go to this point here, step up, curve the eyebrow going up, and then down towards the side of the head. And we're also going to line that up on the right. Let's add some thickness. We're going to go up, go across, and then down. Now just lightly shade the inside of the eyebrows. And now we're going to add some shape to the ears. Let's start from these 2 points. We just want to bend the ear coming in and up. Go back out towards the top to right about there. Do the exact same thing on the right, going up towards the same height. Now on the ends, we're going to draw a small circle just to round out the ears. Draw the same size circle on the right. From the outside of that circle, bend the ear going out, come all the way around, and then in on top of the head. We'll do the same thing on the right, making sure that the width of the ears are the same. Now before we go any further, I'm going to go back and clean up our drawing by erasing some of these guidelines. And so we can get a better look at our proportions. And we can also do some modifications if we need to. And once we clean up our drawing, I can go back and just modify the shape and add some more details as we go. But I'm just going to stick to this rough sketch that I have and just darkening up our contrast. So you can see that I'm just rounding out that short point on the end coming across the bottom of the eye. And we're going to go back and forth from left to right just to make sure that we're balancing out our drawing. I'm just going to add a little highlight on the top right side in between the iris and the pupil. And go back and just darken up the center of the pupils. Just going to go in rough to start. We can come back and add some more detail and contrast after. Now we're going to go back in and just darken up the upper eyelid. So just tracing this along the top, and just tapering towards the inside. I'm just going to go in and just lightly darken that up. Let's enhance that fold in the center, going a little bit thicker in the middle and just tapering that out towards the side. Just working our way around the nose. And then we're going to add those nostrils. Just like 2 small half circles on the side, and we'll darken that up. Now with the cheeks, we're just going to add a softer texture along the outside. So just sketching these lines, just curving around the face, coming in towards the chin. And right here, just going to lightly fade that out. And I'm just going to add a little bit more detail to the collar, just rounding this out. Pull that collar coming in and then down. Now let's add that vest, just the edge of the collar. And I'm just going to slope the shoulders coming down towards the bottom of our page. Now I want to do the same thing to the ears. Just going to brush that fur going up and then out. Again, just using this line as a guide, this rough sketch. Just pulling the fur going up towards the top of the ears. And then just work our way across towards the inside. And then we're just going to lightly add that trim across the inside of the ear, starting from the bottom, just tapering this up towards the top, lightly rounding that out, and then coming back down. And now we're going to go in and start adding some contrast. So starting back at the eyes, just going to darken up our lines, and again just brushing that texture of the eyelashes going up and then out. Now I'm going to use the side edge of my pencil to add a light tone to the outside of the iris. And we want to make sure that we go around that highlight along the top right. And then again, just adding a lighter tone to the inside of the nose. And then we're going to soften up the fur around the top of the head, just using these little short lines going across the sketch. I'm just going to add a shadow just underneath the chin. And I'm just going to fade that down towards the bottom. Now I'm also going to add a shadow along the side, just underneath the collar. Now I'm just going to extend some of that texture of that fur around the ears, just pulling that in. So it's a little bit darker on the outside edge. And I'm just going to use the side edge of a pencil to add some darkness along the inside of the ears. I'm just going to fade that in, and then just work our way around the perimeter. Again, going darker along the outside edge. Let's go back to the face. We're just going to add that soft texture just up above the nose, and then just brushing that up. And I'm just going to aim up towards the inside corner of the eyes, so we create this nice light trim around the eyes. And again, we're just going to darken out that fur along the perimeter of the face. And then we can use the tip of our pencil to go back and just add some fine detail of fur inside. Now, as we get closer to the end, I'm just going to tighten up my shadows and details, and always be sure to sign my artwork, and that's pretty much it. There's a sketch illustration of Judy Hopps from Zootopia. I hope you enjoyed today's lesson. If you did, please be sure to subscribe because I'm posting new lessons every single day. I want to thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.